Nikki. I'm the Director of Training and Get Outdoors PA with PRPS. Thank you all for being on this roundtable. We really wanted to just do a midsummer check-in with everyone to see how their programs are going, whether they're in person or virtual, what's working, what's not, what issues have arisen that the group might be helpful with, and then just some other questions that we can go through throughout the session. Right now we have about 15 people. We had 30 sign-ups, so I think we'll have some more people. But there's a reminder, you're all on mute, but I welcome you to unmute yourself, share your video if you can, and I'll just ask, how is it going? How is your summer camp going at this point, if you're running it?
Well, we've had a couple things. We've had tennis, Audrey from Campbellboro, tennis lessons the last 2 weeks, and those went well. Only had 9 children, but those children had a good time. We had girls basketball camp a couple weeks ago, where instead of giving t-shirts, we gave everybody an individual basketball. So they worked on individual skills, and that went over well. Again, we only had about 10 girls in that. Boys basketball camp and field hockey are next week. And the boys camp, we have 20 boys, but again, it's outside. Our insurance company won't let us hold anything inside. So I just have everything. I can only do everything outside. And we're also trying an outdoor Zumba class in August, beginning of August. So it's going okay.
Great. What's the kind of reception you've had from parents and campers as far as any new regulations regarding sanitation? Have things been positive, your feedback, or are some people just a little grumpy about it?
No, I think they're just happy to do something. They're more than willing to wear a mask or bring a mask along if it's needed. We have hand sanitizer there. Everybody's been using that. They've been bringing their own on top of that. So I think they're just happy to have something for their kids to do, even if it's just an hour or two. So I haven't had anybody complain to me about anything.
Great. Anyone else? How is it going? Just a reminder, you have to unmute yourselves with the new system. It will not let me unmute you. It just tells me to ask you to unmute yourself.
This is Karen from Lower Providence. We've had a struggle. We've tried to do some outdoor stuff. We had to cancel our summer camp. We're kind of struggling right now. We're looking into planning our fall stuff and our fall events. Our community right now is really focused on the school district and what the school's going to do. So they're kind of not looking so much at programming. There's a lot of tension with our school district right now. So we are finding a lot more people out in our parks doing, like, taking part in the fishing pier. A lot of people that haven't done that before. Going to a couple other parks that are smaller and not as big as our community park, just walking or doing the playgrounds, lots of trails, things like that. But as for organized programs, we're struggling a little bit with those.
Okay. You did some virtually early on, did you not?
We did. We tried a couple virtually. We've had minimal numbers. We're trying yoga in the park and Zumba in the park, like Audrey, in August, later in August into September. So hopefully we'll have some good numbers there and things like that. Great. But we're like Audrey, our supervisors really don't want us to do too much indoors. We're trying to do as much as we can outdoors right now. Now, when it becomes cold out, I don't know how this is all going to affect us and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
Hi, I'm Cheryl from Phoenixville Borough. We've pretty much stuck with Camp in a Bag since, I guess, the middle of June, which was super popular at that point. It's kind of fallen off, I think, because other sports, soccer in our area and baseball have opened up. And vacation time, I guess. So it's fallen off a little bit, but we're continuing that until almost until school starts here, which is August 24th. We did run our tennis camp, or it's running now, so that's been pretty popular. Again, it's only in mornings and all outdoors, so I think families are a little more comfortable with that. And next week we have an outdoor art camp that we're running for the first time. So we're kind of looking forward to that. Numbers are low. I would say the enrollment, if it were a normal season, we would, take a look at even running it. But given the fact that, we are where we're at, we just decided to go for it. So even though there's only about 8 kids registered, we feel like it's manageable. And so we're going to go for it next week. So, and again, just like everybody else, everything's outside. Our rec center is not open to the public. We're only really there working part-time, like 1 week on, 1 week off. So yeah, so we're trying our best. I mean, it's not bringing in the revenue that we normally would, but we're just trying to give them options.
Right. Can you share a little bit about what your Camp in the Bag looks like?
Yeah, we kind of did like a themed week, Make It Monday. So a craft to work on, Try It Tuesday. So like a science experiment or kind of like a STEM kind of thing. Wildlife Wednesday. So it was either like a research thing or an animal inspired craft. 1 week they made bird feeders, things like that. Thursday was Think About It Thursday. So we've done everything from word finds and scavenger hunts and things like that. And then Fun Friday. So that was, it was kind of more of an explore the town kind of thing. 1 week we did a clue game in the park. So we gave them clues and then they had to go figure out who, to solve the crime. We've done in-town scavenger hunts, First Friday events, things like that. So that was kind of the theme of the week so that we could kind of design crafts or ideas or games for them. And then, they could do it on their own time. So if they wanted to do everything in one day, they basically could. But if they wanted to break up and do an activity each day, that was a good way to do it.
Great. That's fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's been working really well. So, and we do curbside pickup, so there's no contact. Yeah.
Okay. For the programs that have run so far, are you just doing a standard waiver? And this is to everyone who spoke up. Are you doing temperature checks, anything like that?
We have a waiver for ours that our solicitor wrote up that has to be filled out for every activity that the child or parent participates in, including like the pool. So the pool one was done separately, but for everybody who registers, we're not doing temperature checks before the program, just the waiver.
We're on the same page. We just do the waiver. We don't do the temperature checks or anything.
All right. And does anyone else want to talk about where they are for this summer so far?
Hello.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, I'll comment about the Allentown Parks and Recreation Department. We scaled back our normally the 8-week summer playground program at 19 sites. I was actually out on furlough for about 2 months, and we presented when we returned to have a 2-week summer camp, or actually, sorry, a 4-week summer camp and scaled back locations and staff members. That kind of got canceled. And then we presented a 2-week summer play activities, not playgrounds, because our playgrounds are still unofficially closed, as well as our basketball rims not put up. We reached out to the school district, as well as our mayor, and we just couldn't come back around to get that all in order between the risk department and then permission from the school district to offer play activities in addition to their grab and go free lunch program.
Okay.
So we are working on partnering with a fire department in Allentown that offers Firehouse Fridays, which is just free lunches on Fridays between 3 and 4 in the afternoon. And that starts the middle of August till actually goes all year long. Kind of meal for the Friday nights and also for the weekends for children that walk past the firehouse. There's 2 or 3 schools in that general walking area, but we are waiting to hear back in regards to that. So
Great,
we're
thanks.
still forward and offer some type of summer camp, but it seems obviously things are a lot different now, and it looks like the arts and crafts of the packet of arts and crafts and whatnot may be the best option because of the non-contact grab-and-go meals.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
For those of you who are running programs, and again, if you are unable to unmute yourself, you can put it in the chat box and I can read off your replies. But what activities have been working? How are you socially distancing your campers? I know most people are using the pod method, but are there certain activities that have proven to be more successful with your campers? None? Or any traditional activities or? I know, it's tough. We're in a tough spot this year.
Yeah, normally we would scrimmage during the basketball camps and things like that, but we kept the girls, for the girls camp, it's the only one we had so far like that, and we had to keep them in their own little area of the basketball court the whole time. If they were to do layups or whatever, and they'd be closer than 6 feet, they had to wear their mask during that period of time. So yeah, definitely wasn't normal, but again, the parents and kids, the parents, I got an email, a parent said that she thought it was really, really good. So.
Great. There is, Emily spoke up in the chat box. She said they're doing a lot of outdoor sports and individually spaced out crafts. So yeah, I think that's fantastic. Are other people, I know Cheryl mentioned she's doing camp in a box or camp in a bag. Is anyone else doing that? Has it worked successfully in your area? Or have you tried any new or innovative themes that have brought campers in? Or if it's not a traditional camp, whether it's virtual or even just a one-time program?
I feel like I'm the only one talking. But anyway, we had camp in a box, and we only sold a few of those. We did try that, and now I think, like Cheryl said, everyone's vacationing outside, doing different sports, utilizing the parks that they're not. And we haven't had the rain that keeps kids inside, so everybody's out, which is a good thing. So we did try that, but it didn't go over as well as we thought. But again, I think the lack of rain keeps people from needing indoor activities.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're looking at is the way we're programming too, because everything is changing so quickly. You know, we used to program so many months out. We're actually doing it month by month almost. So like for August, we're starting to promote our August programs. Like we're doing a nature photo contest with our Optimist Club that we used to do during the camp program. We're opening it up to all the resident kids in the township this time, and it's going to run for like 3 weeks. They have 3 weeks to take a nature photo in our parks and send it to us, and then the Optimists will vote on it, and they'll get like Amazon gift cards and things like that. And then like we're doing a family photo activity scavenger hunt where they have to go out to the parks and do certain things. and take pictures and submit it for a family like swag bag kind of thing. There's like a couple. So, and then like August, we're going to try yoga in the park. So like we're trying to think of things like month by month almost, because things are changing here in Montgomery County quickly too. Sometimes we were fine and now we're like back to lower people in restaurants and stuff. So, and now like the sports, like people have said, like baseball has started and not soccer, but baseball is big. So they've been like the clubs and tournaments have been going on. So
Yeah,
that's the one difference that we're finding in our programming end of it.
I think that's a great point, and I know, yeah, it changed. Even PRPS isn't sure of what we're doing for the fall yet, as far as in person or virtual. But, and I know facilities, whether it's a community center or using schools, I've heard locally that the school district isn't going to let outside groups in, and they rely a lot on using the school facilities. So now they're looking at having to go to paid facilities, which then for their budget, you know, it could increase a volleyball team fee by 3. And then, you know, are people actually going to participate in the program? So those are definitely tough issues. And I won't say too much more on that because we have a programming roundtable next week as far as what are you further planning, but I think that's a great point. Samantha mentioned in the chat box, she's in Chambersburg and they've been able to offer some in-person programs this summer as well as virtual programs. Numbers are lower, but they also have a limited number of participants in their program. So they've lowered their capacity. They've had tennis and art programs, 4 levels of swim lesson, field hockey clinic, volleyball clinic, and snag golf. So that's fantastic that you've been able to do those. And thank you for sharing in the chat box. Others, feel free, because I know you don't want to listen to my voice the whole time. One thing I saw online that I thought was really interesting is a virtual leadership program for counselors in training or other teenagers. And I'm going to try to share the link with you later. I had it on here and I accidentally deleted it. But is anyone still working with counselors in training or other teens in that way? I know from my experience, trying to do anything with teens is one of the most difficult things ever because they want something, but they don't want what you offer them. But is anyone working with CITs or similar programs?
I normally have junior counselors at my camp, my day camp, but since we're not having day camp, I don't have any I don't have anything like that going on. I have a lot of teens working at the pool, but that's the only group.
Okay, great.
Yeah, same with us. We usually have them at camp. We haven't really done anything virtually or anything, but I'd be interested to see that link.
Yeah, I actually read about it this morning and I thought, well, that's a great idea because, you know, Christy, yeah, I'll make sure I share that. I just thought it was a neat way to still get older kids involved with camp that, you know, they love virtual anyway. So if you make it interesting enough for them to participate, I thought it was great. So I'll make sure I find that link and include it in the chat text when we're done. The other thing I saw, you know, obviously a lot of people looked at virtual escape rooms. So I have a couple links that I can share on that, and Zoom camp games. So if you do anything virtual, I will share that link as well. And I guess they're popular Zoom camp games. Quite frankly, being on Zoom all the time, I'm sure parents and kids are like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. But maybe when the fall comes back and weather starts getting cooler, if we're still under the same kind of situation where we're limited as far as who we can allow in programs, that would be helpful. What questions do you all have for the group? Again, this was meant to be a midsummer check-in to look at any issues people have noticed or any positive things. We would love to hear great positive things as well.
I have a question that's kind of a little off topic, but on topic. I'm thinking everybody's starting to be asked to work on their 2021 budgets. And are you going to budget what you budgeted in 2020, hoping things turn around? Or are you going to be more conservative? Just curious what everybody's thinking.
This is Christy from Silver Spring. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. We literally just started our budget process this week, and we decided to plan for like an outdoor program in addition to our indoor program. So we have an extra, layer of programming there just in case something were to happen and we couldn't do our indoor program. So we just built that into our budget. And another thing that we're probably going to look into too is just extra money for legal guidance or insurance purposes. So that's probably going to be the biggest impact, I would think, for us, and like cleaning supplies, things like that, things we hadn't budgeted for this year that we're going to have to budget for next year. I think the cleaning supplies and like the separation of things makes it a little bit more tricky as far as like what supplies we're going to be able to buy. So that's kind of where we're at.
We basically took our this year's budget, and we didn't really make too many changes because a lot of our stuff got canceled from our fireworks and stuff. So a lot of things just kind of rolled over. We decided not to be too conservative because if we take something out, they could end up cutting it for the next couple of years. So we just kind of kept everything the same, maybe some smaller changes with it in the parks maintenance for cleaning and sanitation stuff. We did put like the clause in, like, due to this year being canceled, a couple of our capital projects are being pushed back a year. Like every year we have a list of things that we want to get done. So we only got one thing done in 2020 was our water fountains. So everything else is technically being pushed back a year. So for at least with the capital projects.
That's a great question and great feedback, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We do have a question in the chat box. Samantha again mentioned that they've had few successful virtual programs, art, science, and cooking class, but again, the numbers are limited. Any good ideas for what may happen in the fall to do virtual programs? And again, I will share some of the stuff I have found as far as some escape rooms, some Zoom games and stuff like that. But, if anyone else has some creative ideas, I think if you could share them, that would be great.
We actually have a yoga instructor that does like a silver sneakers program with like the health insurance for our seniors. They used to do like chair yoga. Well, she just actually put together a virtual chair yoga for the older adults. So I don't know if that's something to hit not just kids, but we're going to try doing some like stuff for adults too, virtually in the fall. So.
Great. Great. Along that lines, well, it's not really along that lines, it's just another question. Obviously, I know furloughs have been an issue. Have you been furloughed? Have people in your department? Have you had to cut back on staff? But also, are you having a problem getting staff?
I don't have it. I'm the only one in my department, but I didn't have an intern this summer. And we didn't have a problem getting lifeguards, I think, because some of the surrounding pools were closed, so they came to us for a job. So, yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
We only have 2 of us in the department and an administrative assistant. So my boss and the administrative assistant have been in the office. I've been working from home since March just because of my condition and stuff. They won't let me in the office. So it's been a struggle for me, but we're getting everything done. Things are a lot easier nowadays with email, FaceTime, Zoom, things like that. So, but we've been lucky. We haven't, no one has been furloughed or anything. So,
Yep, that's good. I know Shannon just said at Hampton, they were furloughed for 4 weeks, but they've been back since May 1st. I know locally here in State College, the Park and Rec department, they did some rolling furloughs. So I think they were on 2-week furloughs, but could either take them at the same time or actually split them, just because right when their furloughs were happening, we went into green. So then it was like, well, you need the staff now that they can start doing things. So I know definitely that's hit a lot of agencies. We've seen a lot of bounce back emails of people who are either out on furlough or some that just may not even be there anymore. So that's been tough. What other questions? Okay, Kelsey said that their numbers for day camp were low, so full-time counselors are getting 1 to 2 days a week instead of 5. So definitely that's a lesser amount of days for their camp staff. For those who are doing in-person programs, are you doing any special guest speakers? Obviously, we know field trips have been canceled, but have you had anyone come in, whether that's in person or virtually, to do kind of like, I know like Reptile Land will come and bring animals and stuff like that. So have you had anything like that? No, that's okay. I just thought I'd ask some questions. Mad Science. Okay, Emily, so they had Mad Science come in, which is great. No, Kelsey mentioned no in-person visitors, no field trips. Oh, sorry, there was quite an echo there. So yeah, it seems like some people are just trying to get through the chat box, make sure we are hitting everything. It seems like the biggest bonus about COVID this year was people didn't have a problem getting lifeguards, which I know in the past has been tricky. So I think that's, I guess if we're gonna find a silver lining. Emily also mentioned the police department and Elmwood Park Zoo visited them. So that's fantastic that you can still do some creative programming with outside individuals. One thing I did want to mention as well is, I don't know if you've seen, but the CDC has some new educational posters. And I'm going to try to pull that link up now. It's obviously referring to COVID, but it is specific. There are some specific to camp. There are some specific to facilities, including pools and sports and stuff like that. And we did or will be posting them on the PRPS website, but if you need some signage, they're great. They're really well designed and you can just print them or share them on social. So definitely some good information there. And I don't want to drag this call on. If we don't have a lot of other questions or things to talk about, then we'll let you go. So I'll open it up one last time. If there's any questions, again, you can put them in the chat box or just ask us, and we'll address those. And if not, then I do want to let you know we're planning on a summer wrap-up roundtable, and we'll do that for aquatics, camps, community centers, and everything, probably mid to late September. So we'll be able to touch base with any other questions. But at this time, does anyone else have any issues they want to bring up? All right, well, I don't see anything in the chat box. Again, I will send out a follow-up recording and the chat box text, which will include the different websites I mentioned earlier, the CIT leadership program, the escape room, the Zoom games. So hopefully that will help planning. I did see this really great idea about Lego macro pictures. I don't know if you saw that, but people are taking little Legos and doing like up close photos of them. And they said that would be great for some kind of picture contest or even a great social distancing activity to do with families in the fall. So definitely some other stuff like that. Most of them are sports related. So thank you so much. I hope to see you all again in September, and enjoy the rest of your summers. I appreciate you being on the call.
Thank you. You too.
you.
Bye, everyone.